Let us begin by understanding why corrosion protection is so important. Corrosion protection is of critical importance because it has a direct impact on vessel safety, operating profitability, and asset value. In day-to-day ship operations, a vessel's operating profitability is greatly influenced by maintenance and repair costs. Critical areas such as cargo holds, ballast tanks, and other enclosed spaces are subject to close scrutiny by port state control, classification societies, and charterers. Inadequate corrosion control in these areas reflects poor maintenance standards and can seriously affect the vessel's commercial standing. Today's ships operate with reduced crew levels and under intense marketplace competition, which places increasing pressure on maintenance provisions in operating budgets. If corrosion protection is neglected, the consequences can be severe: port state detentions, withdrawal of class, loss of charter business, and diminished asset value. Moreover, the cost of repairing failed coating systems while the vessel is in service is often very high and can be disproportionate compared to new building costs. For this reason, corrosion protection must be planned from the outset. As a superintendent, it is essential to implement effective operational and maintenance strategies, including a long-term coating strategy starting from the new building stage, continuing through dry docking periods, and supported by continuous on-board maintenance. A systematic approach to corrosion protection ensures long-term structural integrity and economic efficiency. Now let us move to the Galvanic series of metals, also known as the Galvanic series in seawater. The Galvanic series ranks metals according to their electrochemical activity when immersed in seawater. This series determines which metal will act as the anode and which will act as the cathode when two metals are electrically connected. Metals that behave as anodic metals are less noble, more active, and corrode preferentially. On the other hand, cathodic metals are more noble, less reactive, and remain protected. At the anodic, or less noble, end of the galvanic series, we find metals such as magnesium, zinc, aluminum, cadmium, mild steel, cast iron, and active stainless steel. In the intermediate range are lead, tin, nickel, brass, copper, aluminum bronze, and cupronickel. At the cathodic, or noble, end are silver, passive nickel, passive stainless steel, titanium, graphite, gold, and platinum. Metals placed higher in the series will corrode when connected to metals lower in the series. This principle is fundamental to material selection, coating design, and cathodic protection systems on ships. Let us now consider stress concentrations leading to corrosion cell formation. Stress concentrations in ship structures, such as welds, sharp corners, notches, and stress junctions, can promote the formation of localized corrosion cells. These regions often become anodic relative to surrounding areas due to microstructural changes, residual stresses, and breakdown of protective films. The formation of a corrosion cell in such locations is often the precursor to crack initiation. When corrosion and stress act together, they can produce stress corrosion cracking, commonly referred to as SCC. Stress corrosion cracking links a specific metal with a specific environment under tensile stress exceeding a critical value. A typical example is high tensile steels exposed to hydrogen-rich environments. SCC commonly occurs in pipes, boilers, welded joints, and stress concentration zones. Once initiated, these cracks can propagate rapidly with very little overall metal loss, making stress corrosion cracking particularly dangerous. The occurrence of SCC can be reduced by controlling stress levels during design and fabrication, avoiding sharp stress concentrations, using corrosion inhibitors, and selecting suitable materials for specific environments. Finally, let us look at the measures to minimize corrosion. Effective corrosion control relies on breaking one or more elements of the corrosion process. One of the primary methods is the use of barrier coats or protective coatings. Barrier coats protect the metal by physically isolating it from the atmosphere or seawater. Paint and coating films prevent contact between the metal and the electrolyte, effectively destroying one leg of the corrosion triangle. Existing corrosion is slowed or stopped, and new corrosion cells are prevented from forming. These coatings are applied during new building, renewed during dry dock recoating, and maintained through onboard touch-up maintenance. Another important method is cathodic protection. Cathodic protection prevents the steel structure from becoming the anode. This is achieved either by sacrificial anodes, such as zinc, aluminum, or magnesium, or by impressed current systems. In both cases, corrosion is transferred away from the protected structure. In practice, barrier coatings and cathodic protection are often used together, depending on the area to be protected, the operating environment, and the structural importance. This combined approach provides maximum corrosion resistance and significantly extends the service life of ship structures. To summarize, corrosion protection directly affects vessel safety, profitability, and asset value. The Galvanic series in seawater governs anodic and cathodic behavior of metals. Stress concentrations promote corrosion cell formation and can lead to stress corrosion cracking. Barrier coatings and cathodic protection are the primary methods of corrosion control. An effective corrosion management must be planned from new build through the entire service life of the vessel. Thank you for watching the video.